This year's autumn statement takes place hot on the heels of Prime Minister David Cameron's visit to China, where he was travelling to generate more UK investment, the sort which he says will give a much-needed boost to the British economy. It was the largest delegation Britain has ever sent to China, with some 120 business people who are hoping to improve trade and add to a growing list of UK-based projects with Chinese investment. Shanghai-based Zhonggong Group recently unveiled its plans for a £500 million redevelopment of this park here at Crystal Palace in South London. The project will see the resurrection of the grand Victorian glasshouse that was built here as a venue for the Great Exhibition in 1851 and burnt down 85 years later. The Crystal Palace project is just one of a number of schemes that could see a slew of Chinese money come to the UK. British infrastructure projects like new nuclear power stations, London's super sewer, as well as a mooted involvement with HS2, the country's proposed high-speed rail link, have so far received most interest. But the British government has come under fire for kowtowing to the Chinese for little substance beyond the few headline-grabbing initiatives.
Other countries are looking at this and saying, well, you know, the UK has given up a lot, what is it going to get? And so far, it's hard to see what tangible benefits Prime Minister David Cameron and the British government are getting from this rapprochement. But other countries really feel that the UK, in its efforts to get back in the good graces of the Chinese government, have really downplayed human rights and the issue of Tibet. And it really is quite unclear exactly what they're getting, apart from a kind of feel-good trip for the Prime Minister.
Others argue that David Cameron's approach is more pragmatic. The British government has worked hard to cultivate relations with a number of fast-growing economies. China itself has the ability to single-handedly turn the UK economy around. But there is more to the Chinese interest than just giving the UK a leg up.
Now, initially, these investments appear to involve money, and that's great. Everyone loves free money. The UK doesn't have a lot of money, needs to build a lot of infrastructure projects. From the Chinese perspective, however, what they really want to do is use these deals as a stepping stone to export their own technology, not to be passive investors. And that is something which, when it happens, will be a very interesting development. That is something which has not happened in the United States, in Australia, and in continental Europe, where there's a lot more suspicion about letting Chinese technology into these projects.
This type of involvement in the UK hasn't yet been confirmed, and investment in controversial projects like HS2 are still some way off. And while questions have also been raised about the suitability of some of the Chinese investors themselves, there's little doubt that Chinese money, as an ingredient to UK growth, is set to come in bigger measures.
I'm actually quite optimistic, though, about Britain's long-term position when it comes to exporting to Asia. You have to remember that the reason that the Germans do well in that part of the world is that the Chinese economy is still at a stage of development where it's primarily buying manufacturing products. In 20 years' time, it'll be a much more advanced economy, and it'll be buying the things that we in this country are quite good at, so financial services, business services, higher education.
David Cameron will no doubt be hoping for some more short-term results, but he'll be quick to remind his detractors at the autumn statement that Britain's mercantilist foreign policy is ensuring the country's finances can look forward to a brighter, if more internationally flavoured future. Seb Morton-Clark, Financial Times, London.